Hey, guess what? Got a special treat. My friend, Bronson Culver, is going to be my special co host tonight, and he's invited a really good friend of his. If you are horror fans and you go to all the conventions, you probably already met her because she's pretty cool and amazing. I did. I said it. Amazing. She's amazing. So stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight, and better get your cocktails out because this is going to be a good one. See you in a bit. Here we go. Hi, I'm Honey Gregory, and welcome to my podcast. And I'm just so fortunate today because I'm doing double duty. I've got some stuff we're going to learn, we're going to perpetually learn because that's what we got to do. But even better, we're going to talk about movies and people in the movies and all about movies and people who do stuff about movies and you know what we do here at Honey Goes to the Drive-In. So, all right, Bronson, my special co-host today, who do we have?
This is Myrl Vava O'Kelly. She is the owner of Pinsploitation. She's a huge horror fan, big fan of the drive-in also.
Nice. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, Bronson's been saying for a couple weeks, we gotta have her on there. She's awesome. She's amazing. Da, la, la, la. And I'm like, okay.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate that so much.
Well, so, he's giving me some tidbits. And I see your blankets back there. So I kind of went on your website and girl, there's some good stuff on there. Tell me all about yourself.
Well, thank you. Well, so I've always been a big fan of the B movies and the horror movies and the drive-in cinema, the grindhouse stuff. I'm not really sure where that interest started, but I think getting Fangoria when it first came out as a little kid, and then of course having parents saying no more of these, you can't, and then getting them again because you go to grandma's house and grandma didn't care, so she'll buy you the Fangoria, right? But yeah, I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, and ended up going to college at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago.
Nice.
The winters there were a little too much. So once I was done there, I moved out to LA. And I was out there for like 20 years. All kinds of stuff, not doing what I'm doing now. I was really involved with the after hours scene and underground DJs and a whole bunch of stuff. But
cool. That sounds like fun. I went to LA a couple of times and the nightlife is fantastic.
Oh yeah. It always will be. I mean,
yeah.
It's just a hub. It's just like it attracts those types of people, and then you find your tribes. But in 2012, I moved to Springfield, Missouri, where I'm at now, because my father had passed away and I didn't want my mom to be alone. So I moved back. And the funny thing is, it's like you think you're leaving this place that has all this opportunity and going to somewhere where there's nothing. And then that's where I kind of found myself. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And then so one day I just found somebody had done a pen of Tourist Trap, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. And I was like, this is amazing. I was like, why would somebody do that? And so then I started researching more. I was like, there's some other horror pens. This is like a whole community.
Yeah.
So I started searching for ones that I wanted and I wasn't finding them.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I could design these. Why can't I should just do it myself? And so my husband convinced me because he was like, why not? You can do it. And I'm like, I don't know anything about it. He's like, just do it. You're not going to learn unless you just take the chance. So I did. And so my first pen did okay. And I started going to conventions. And the first horror convention I went to, Crypticon, Kansas City. I forget what year. I think it was 2017 or 18. But Cat Williams was there. Nice. From Carrie and Greatest American Hero. And I was talking to him and telling him.
William Cat.
Well, I'm sorry.
Having a dyslexic moment.
I have them all the time. Yeah, no, I've got a picture of me talking to him right here.
Oh,
He's
how
the
cute.
one that really suggested, hey, talk to the people that run the convention. And I was like, I don't know. I don't set up a table. I don't know. And so I did it. And again, it was, all these stepping out of my comfort zone moments where each time, I mean, it's stressful, it's scary, but the rewards are so great
Yeah.
that it's just kind of snowballed from there to where now, last July, I quit my full-time job working for a big box retailer.
Wow.
I've just been designing and creating full-time. And it's like by doing that, I feel like I've gotten back to my roots. What I was meant to do is the artist in me, the creator, the spirit in me that just wants to create stuff and share it. And by doing that, I've garnered all these relationships and friendships that have just made it the most rewarding experience, especially for somebody like me that, I had the job, I had the insurance, I had all that. I was like, okay, I don't know if I could ever walk away from this. And I hit a point where I'm like, it's changing me. It's starting to turn me into something or somebody I'm not. And I said, well, I'm not getting any younger. If I'm going to do it, I got to do it now. I can always go back to something. So I did. And so far, it's just been fantastic.
Well, I love that because, I'm always talking on my podcast, Perpetual Learning, about how, we have to follow our goals and dreams. And we have to believe in ourselves and we have to do everything. And I keep telling people always, everything starts, everybody's seen this, the movie, The Secret or whatever, but everything starts with an idea. Right. Yeah. So you have to conceive that dream, whatever that idea is. And then you kind of start speaking it out and talking about it and trying to see if you can get some traction with people. And then, you at some point you start believing in yourself. And the moment you kind of believe, I can do this, and you start taking those little tiny steps. And then it's just like, boom, boom, stuff just starts falling into place. And next thing you know, you've done it. You've received that gift and there you are. And you're like, oh, geez, it was that easy.
100%. And all along the way, I have to stop a lot and remind myself. I'm like, I'll look at people and I'm like, there's always going to be other people doing the same thing you're doing that are doing it better or just different. And I've gotten over the intimidation part of that. Yeah. I've realized I'm like, that's like me looking at me. That's just another person with these same goals and same desires and interests as myself. Why wouldn't I want to connect with that person? Because I don't want anyone intimidated from me. Right. I want to inspire.
Beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. And if you listen to those negative speaks that's going on in your head, man, you'll never do or accomplish anything. You just got to say, hey, they're going to be them. I'm going to be me. Some people are going to like me and some aren't, Right. And that's just all there's to it.
Right. And I think that just as humans, that's a struggle that we wrestle with kind of on the daily.
Yeah. Because you can always tell yourself, oh, I'm so stupid. I'll never do that right. Nobody's going to like me. I mean, I go through that. Even when I started this podcast, I'm like, why am I doing this? Nobody's going to watch it. This is just a waste of my time. I should be watching a movie, or something.
Right. Exactly. And so, yeah, I think though that's been the best gift I've given to myself, though, is
that's beautiful.
Not letting that stop me from doing anything and just doing it.
Well, these are beautiful. These are beautiful things. So tell us what all you have, because I know you have more than pens. And we got to, wait a minute, let's have a toast. Bronson, where you at? You're supposed to be drinking with me. Don't tell me that's water. I went downstairs and got a cocktail. What are you having over there?
It's my usual foo-foo drink.
Yeah. Okay, I went foo-foo too. This is one of those Mike's Hard Lemonades. I went girly on you. I didn't get my bourbon.
I've got my Tito's with mango puree and seltzer.
Well, I don't have anything to drink, so I will just pretend toast.
Okay, air toast.
Air toast, exactly.
So go ahead and tell us what all you've got on your website. What's your website address?
Pins. My website is pinsploitation.com.
Okay.
And I came up with that name because I was like, well, I've got to have a shop name. And I just kept thinking of like, what is a name that kind of would convey what I think my stuff's going to be about.
Well, it makes me think of the exploitation films of the 70s.
Exactly.
Love it. Exactly.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, this blanket I call my sexploitation blanket.
Oh, that is so cool. I need one of those.
Yeah, it's all the best drive-in posters.
Nice.
It's really the posters often are better than the movie anyway.
Yeah, and the hotties on there, they always draw them so amazing and
Oh, I know. I love that artwork.
Yeah.
So, and then I started doing some patches. So I've got some patches, and what else do I have? I've got tote bags. I did a drive-in movie tote bag that I called the Sex and Violence tote. It's all like the newspaper ads, the black and white newsprint ads from all the drive-ins. I have blankets. I've got some keychains. I've done a little bit of a lot of different things.
Cool.
And it just starts off. And I've just branched out into t-shirts.
Oh, good for you. All right.
Yeah,
Uh-oh, Bronson, you got some competition. You got some competition now.
No, but Myrl, you sound like you did kind of what I did. Like you just ended up saying, okay, I've done the regular life work thing, and you said, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I talked to Honey about this in the first podcast we did together. Is like, I said, I'm going to be in a band. And people were like, oh, you can't be in a band. It was a crappy band, but I was still in a band.
That's right.
And then I said, I'm going to be a professional wrestler. And people were like, no, you're not. And I ended up doing that for almost 20 years. And then I started going to conventions and fell in love, like you probably did.
Mm-hmm.
But I started off, just going and selling. And I was making a little bit of money, but I kind of was doing the same thing everybody else was doing. I had comic books, and, I had Fangoria magazines were a big part of it, really set up. And I took the old Fangorias that I cut up for my school folders. So I would take what I had left and make coasters and bottles and different things. But then after, a couple of years, I was like, I want to do something more specific. Horror is my favorite genre. Yeah. And as soon as I focused in on horror and started creating products for the horror genre, it really took off. And I'm so glad I did it, because even though I still work part-time-ish, being involved with the horror community and horror conventions is one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if I can speak for you, but for me, and part of it, I think, is the generation we grew up in. Generation X is like, you always see the jokes about we're the generation that was 30 by the time we were 10, and we're still 10 in our 50s. We've got that child wonder and excitement and passion for the things we love still.
Yes.
With me, it's music and movies. And
cool.
So cult movies, grindhouse movies, cheesy movies, I love all of it. And I'll never stop loving music. It's a huge passion of mine.
What kind of music do you like?
I managed a record store for several years in LA, so about every genre you can imagine. But my favorite would probably be new wave and 70s disco.
Oh, disco duck. Oh my God, that takes me back.
Like those deep cuts and stuff that you wouldn't even know who sings it, but you can find those albums and they still sound so good. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Those are my favorites. That's what I listen to a lot.
I used to have all the 45s. Come home from school and turn on my record player. Now you say a record player.
Stack of 45.
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't have much vinyl, but it's coming back. Like we had Felissa on here. Was it Felissa Bronson that we had on here recently?
Rose last week.
Yeah, she's got like a whole room. Every wall is covered in vinyl. It's like,
I'll be seeing her this weekend. I'm going to talk to her about that.
Oh, cool.
She's gonna be at Days of the Dead Atlanta. I've been packing
I'll be there.
Today. You're going to be there?
Nobody invited me.
I'm Myrl, I got to tell you, I'm not vending.
Oh.
For the first time ever in like 5 or 6 or how many years we've been going to Days of the Dead Atlanta, I'm not vending.
Really?
Because I just wanted to go and have fun and do the panels and experience what I've been missing while I'm sitting in my booth making money.
Good for you. Absolutely. That's going to be me at Texas Frightmare. I've got tickets for my friend and I to go out and just check it out, but we're just going to go and just be there as, guests and not having to actually vend, because you get stuck at your booth and there's so many things happening that you want to like run off and run back. And
get ready for Texas Frightmare. It is insane.
that's what I've heard. That's why I was like, well, let me just go and check it out at first so I know what to expect. But it's
a reconnaissance. It's still a business write-off.
Oh, hey, you're right. I didn't even
reconnaissance. Yeah, you're going there, make connections, and check it out to see. All business write-off, girl.
Oh my gosh, I need to make a note of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, reconnaissance. Yeah, it's checking out where you need to go and market and how to get and who and blah blah blah.
That's right.
Yep.
Networking. I mean, it's a business trip.
Yeah, and you make a contact or two and tell them about your booth and tell them you want to do one, and boom, all paid for.
But bam, you're right. That's
are you showing us your vinyl?
I got some vinyl.
Look at you.
Was that Journey? I love Journey.
Oh, that was my first concert.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Journey Loverboy. Gosh, what a concert that was.
My very first one was Adam Ant, and he had the Romantics opening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
My favorite.
Texas Jam. I went 2 years in a row back. When was that? 80s? Early 80s? Man, that was something. 100 degrees outside, wearing this teeny amount of outfits you can, and just standing there listening to song after song. And you would think you get tired, but every song is so good. You just keep rocking out, and you've been there all day. It was just amazing.
Sucking up all that energy from all the other people and the excitement.
You're sucking up a lot of stuff in the air.
You're not wrong.
A lot of secondhand stuff going on out there. You're like, oh, what's that? Oh, I feel great now.
Well, a little tidbit, when I was in a band, and my band members were actually pretty good. I was the worst one. I was the drummer, but they made me sing one song while playing the drums. And it was What I Like About You by the Romantics.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. How did you do with that?
The more I sang, the faster the beat got. So, towards the end, it was what I like about you. You keep me warm at night, and it just kept going. I got really, mixing singing and trying to play the drums, which I was not great at. Anyway.
Yeah, I playing the drums, period, to me is like.
Yeah. They'd be like chewing gum and patting your head or something. Isn't that what they say?
Exactly. And roller skating backwards all at the same time.
Yeah, it's like a little complicated. So my little daughter played the drums when she was 3. She wanted to be like Caillou, that little a children's program, and she thought she was a rock star in her diaper.
Oh,
playing in there. It was hilarious. I got the funniest pictures. And then one day she said, "Mom, this is just too easy. It's boring to me." And I was like, "Girl, I wish I could play like that." And you're only 3.
Well, I held this up earlier, Myrl. Did you see my Slauson figure?
Yes, I have that too.
Yeah.
What is it? I can't tell.
It's
like an action figure.
Oh, Tourist Trap from the movie. Yeah, what you were talking about a while ago. Yeah, cool.
Which was a made-for-TV movie.
Oh, wow.
Well,
and it's got that much of a following.
It notoriously was not an R, whereas it probably should have been just because of shock value. But I'm so obsessed with it. I'm just going to grab this thing right here and show you. I had a friend make this for me. It's a Tourist Trap style mannequin head.
Oh, wow. That's hilarious.
I know. I was like, I've always wanted one of those. I need one. And he makes dental appliances for a living. So in his house, he's got this entire shop of grinders and putties and anything and everything to create teeth and dentures. And so we went over there one night and he was like, "I got this. Give me that."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
So
the thing to do is special effects just blow my mind.
Oh, I know. I know.
You know what's funny about Tourist Trap, Burnt Offerings, and then the one segment of Trilogy of Terror.
Mm-hmm.
Those are made for TV movies. And I'm trying to decide whoever the executive that greenlighted that, thank you.
Right.
Because that wouldn't happen today, I don't think.
it changed the direction of so many people's lives just when they watched that. It's like such an impact to so many people. Trilogy of
Wow.
Terror, still to this day, people love it and talk about it.
I
And
hate
it
to
was
say I
a
haven't
good
seen it.
entire film.
I haven't seen
With
it.
Karen Black and the
Mm-mm.
little tiki doll.
I'm terrible. So I like scary movies, but they scare the poop out of me, man. I'll be sitting there like watching like this. Going,
sometimes I am like that. If I think something, like, I love the gore, but sometimes it's just kind of too much, and I'll kind of do this. Like,
yeah. You know, when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, wow, check it out. It squirted everywhere. Now I'm like, oh, God, no, that looks so real. Oh, I'm going to be sick. I don't know. Something happens when you become a mom or something, you know, after so many bandages and broken arms and stuff. You're like, okay, no, I don't need all that.
Maybe it's that we can actually like see those wounds and we know what those would kind of feel like now.
Yes,
So
it's like you have way too much knowledge.
Yes,
you know
that's the problem.
Yeah. But when you're young, it's like, oh, that's cool, man. Look at that. There's that's all like guts falling out and everything, you know.
Oh yeah, I was the same way. I would get my Fangorias and they would come out with these posters and I would hang them in my locker and people would be like, oh, I'm like, it's so cool.
Oh, I was terrible. My poster was always of Elvis Presley because my crush was just so gigantic. People made fun of me, but
yeah. Well, that was like me with Adamant. It was all Adamant posters everywhere.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you have a Sean Cassidy poster or a Leif Garrett?
No, but you want to hear one that was really creepy? When I went off to drill team camp, everybody was taking posters and blankets and everything, and so my colors and blankets were all purple. That was my favorite color. And I didn't have a poster to take. So I went into like the Five and Dime or whatever to look for a poster to take, something cool. And they were all taking hot guys and stuff. I wound up, the only one that had black and purple on it was Eric. What's his name? The guy from Chips, Eric Estrada.
Eric Estrada.
Estrada. Yeah. And I thought it was so cool because it was like, he's cute, you know, and it was purple and black. And I put it over my bed, and everybody's coming in going, what, you got this old dude on here? Well,
you know, there was when Bruno Mars first started blowing up. I don't know if either one of you know this, but when Bruno Mars first started blowing up, that was like the guy from the Wonder Years being Marilyn Manson rumor. It was that Bruno Mars was the son of Eric Estrada.
Oh, really? I never heard that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
At least for a brief moment, you know, it's easier to fact check that stuff these days. But
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought he was cute. I don't know why. Dark hair and dark complexion and big brown eyes. I don't know. I just thought he was hot, I guess.
It's the big
honey, I gotta tell you, he still looks about the same.
He really does. He has aged really, really well.
Yeah.
He really has.
His hair's gray, but other than that, I think he could put on that uniform and still ride down.
No, isn't he really a cop now?
I don't know.
I think he's really a cop now.
Really?
I think so.
Huh.
It's one of them. It's either him or the guy that played his partner. One of them, I think, has really become a cop. And what's the other guy that's a cop now? The karate guy, ponytail. Seagal. Yeah, he's a cop.
Oh, yeah, he's a cop.
Yeah, and a baseball player that I dated back in the 90s. He's a cop now. I'm like, everybody just becomes cops. I don't know what's going on.
Well, it's funny because I'm really good friends with the guy. I'm really good friends with a guy in Chicago that used to be a cop, but now he's really big into horror. So I'm not sure really what he does for money anymore, but
wow.
But yeah, he's a big horror fan now. It's just funny.
What's that? Is that the kitties coming? You got your kitties over there. Where's the kitty cats?
They were around when I was trying to set up that was why I couldn't get it set up, was the cats.
Oh yes, it was the cat's fault. Okay.
Blame the cat.
It. Yeah, let's blame those kitty cats. It was the gray one's fault. I know.
Sorry, my chair sank. I kicked my chair and it sank.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
You know, Myrl, just so you know, every time me and Honey do this, at least 6 or 7 different cats get involved.
They do. They want to be on. They want to be stars. They want to say, "Let me on. Let me on."
Yeah, they would need some attention.
Exactly. Well, he's sitting still, you know, and something interesting's happening. It's just like kids and pets. As soon as you sit still and want to do something, they're on top of you.
Oh yeah, they know. They're like,
never fails.
Now's our opportunity.
Well, Myrl, I told her, I think I told you previously, when I go to do So I have an arts and crafts table over here where I do all my stuff.
Uh-huh.
The cats never touch it until I do arts and craft.
Right.
And then they're like, hey, what's up, man? And they start knocking things around.
Well, I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, I would never want to talk to my mother until she was on the phone. And then it was like, oh, I needed her full attention all the time. And now I've gotten to where I'm kind of like that with my husband. He can be doing whatever. I'm fine. As soon as he gets on the phone, I'm like, I need his attention.
My daughter still does that. Yeah. Yeah. Like she'll sit in her room all day. And as soon as I get on one of these podcasts or someone calls, she comes walking on and going, Mommy, I need something. And I'm like,
right. You're like, I had all this time earlier.
I know. All day.
Well, Myrl, I want to go back to this and here we go. And on cue.
Speak of the devil, number one.
Thank you. You probably know
kitty,
back
kitty,
in,
kitty.
So this is actually King Rufus. So he's the night watchman on our Brutal Arts page.
Oh,
We call him King Rufus, the night watchman. But you know this back like when I was growing up, it was the cover art on the VHS.
Oh gosh, yes.
That either terrified me or intrigued me.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my favorite movies ever, I rented because of the cover art.
Oh yeah, they know how to hook you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what it was all about. That's the purpose of advertising. And they knew clever ways to advertise that were either, they were gratuitous or they were salacious or they just looked so bizarre. I mean, young minds, they were like drawn to it. They're like, oh my gosh, what is that? I have to know.
Yeah, like I'll never forget Jaws. He's
gosh,
coming up and those giant teeth and there's her little legs kicking around and I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I can see this. I don't know if I can watch this. I don't know. And sure enough, you get in the movie and it's horrible.
Still one of those that has it's still effective, but personally I have that, I forget what it's called, but it's like a fear of water you can't see the bottom of. So I will never go on a cruise. I will never be on a boat of any kind where I can't see land because that just terrifies me. I don't know what's underneath me.
I know what's underneath. It's Jaws.
Yeah.
Jaws is under there in the swimming pool, in the creek, in the lake, in the pond. It doesn't matter. Jaws is in there.
Yep. Exactly.
That movie ruined me.
Oh no.
It ruined me. I can't get in the water.
I won't go past my knees. And Jaws was inspired by a true story. Where a shark went up kind of towards the northeast back in the early 1900s, and he actually this shark swam up a freshwater creek.
Oh,
yeah, look it up. He swam up a freshwater creek where they had swimming holes, and he killed 2 or 3 people. But it was fresh water, and I don't know if they ever figured out how he did it or what kind of shark it was. I don't know if it was a great white. I'm thinking it was more something smaller, probably a bull shark. But still, he swam up a freshwater creek inland to attack people. So
it's like we'd always be scared of piranha as kids in the lake. We'd be like, oh, what if it's piranha?
Well, that movie does give you the heebie-jeebies. I remember that. I saw that one.
Yeah, it's a fun one too, though.
Yeah.
Oh, but my goodness. No, the cover art of I kind of, it's nostalgic reminiscing, but going to the video store and looking at all the shelves of all the things that were there that you could possibly watch, that do you dare?
Well, sometimes the cover art is so much better than the movie, and you can say, oh, man.
Oh, I know.
It was or the reverse, like they're out of everything, and you're like, well, I guess I'll get this one. And you get home and go, dang, that's a great movie.
I know. And then you have to tell people because they won't believe you. They're like, oh, the picture looks so blah. Like, no, trust me. It's good. Exactly.
And just like those old posters that you were showing back on your blanket.
Yes.
Blonde, busty babes, the movie could suck big time, but guys would go see it just because there's a hot chick on the poster.
And that's what they counted on, and that's what would get them in the door. Exactly. At the drive-in, all those. I've also started collecting those same kind of posters. So I'm starting to grow a collection of actual movie posters of those same kinds of films. One of my favorites that I finally found a copy of and got House of Whipcord. It's just ridiculously looking. I mean, you've got these bars, you've got a girl in a crop top and hip huggers, and she's screaming, and then there's like a hand that's got a coiled up whip.
Oh,
And you're
wow.
like, whoa, what's happening? But it's just such a fantastic poster that I've been obsessed with it since I was a kid. That and Barn of the Naked Dead,
I don't think I've seen that one.
which is another movie that actually it's better than it should be. I ended up seeing it. I forget where, but it was actually really good. And I was not expecting that.
What's
House
it called
of
again? Barn of the Naked what?
Barn of the Naked Dead.
I'm going to look this one up.
House
Yeah.
of Whipcord is on Tubi.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw it. I was looking because I've gone through every 80s thing I can find on Tubi. And the other day I was looking through and I was like, House of Whipcord. And it's suggested for me.
Oh, is this it?
Well, yeah, that's it.
Let me look at it. My eyes are a little old.
I mean, you've got this.
Oh, wow. There's a
poster.
lot of stuff in there.
There's a lot of stuff happening. I know,
Mhm.
right?
Oh, wow. When you blow it up, there's all kinds of stuff. Wow.
it's a
Oh, there's like
great-
a head in a cage and oh my heavens.
I mean, how would you not want to go see that? I mean, it's a great poster. And again, I caught it on TV or something somewhere one time, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and actually watch the movie. And I was surprised. I was like, this wasn't too bad.
Well,
That was pretty cool.
I like
I
the
would
old
go-
ones.
Me
I'm
too.
sorry. But I would go to I was actually one of the cool kids. I got my mom, just to get me out of the house, would let me go to the theater and see anything I wanted.
Oh.
Because the first time she took me to see an R-rated movie, the lady, her name was Miss AG, and she's like, you shouldn't let your son see this movie. It's R-rated. And my mom was like, don't you tell me how to raise my son.
Go mama.
So from
Go
then on
mom.
out, my mom loved the challenge of that lady maybe telling her what she couldn't do. But going, I actually got to go see these movies 7, 8, 9, 10 years old.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
I would go to the playground and oh my gosh, I probably over embellished the kills in Friday the 13th and Halloween so much. I probably was like, yeah, there's these 3 naked chicks and you cut their heads off and tossed one of them in a windmill. I probably made up so much stuff on the playground.
And you were allowed to
Because
play
it would
with them
be a while
again?
before the other kids would get to see it.
And they went home, told their moms the story, and she said, stay away from that guy.
Oh, exactly. Oh, I was a devil worshiper.
Oh, is that what they said? Oh, good.
Yeah, that's what a lot of parents labeled me.
Just
I
because I
know.
like scary movies.
I
I've
like
been
scary
accused of
movies
that
and I wore rock
myself
shirts.
for the same
So-
reasons.
Well,
Yeah.
my grandma and everybody used to give me a hard time because I had ACDC everything because I was a
Oh,
big
yeah?
giant ACD. That's devil music. I'm like, well, devil's listening to some good stuff.
It's got good
He's
taste,
rocking out, man.
right? That is hilarious. Yeah, I can remember and thinking back, and it triggered a memory, Bronson, you talking about it. And I think probably one of my earliest memories of being fascinated by a horror film was being at camp, like summer camp, and I was probably only like 7 or 8, and hearing the older kids talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mm.
And I mean, they weren't even talking to me. I was just overhearing them talk about it. And it was just like, oh my God, that sounds like the most terrifying thing in the world. But I was fascinated.
Hmm.
So maybe that was it. I don't know.
Well, just a
it's-
warning. We got 5 minutes. So just a warning.
Okay.
Well, and I know we always seem to do this on the show, but shout out to FrankenCon this year.
Yeah. Oh,
The
yes.
50-year anniversary
Whoop,
reunion
whoop.
Oh, that's right. That's
of
gonna be
Texas Chainsaw
amazing.
Massacre. And we'll all be there.
That's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. I'm glad I get
We'll
to
all
be
be
there.
there, right?
I'm right. Yeah. I think I signed the
maybe.
contract already.
I might be there. I'm either going to be there or I'm going to be in Los Angeles. It just depends on how my schedule ends up working out.
Yeah. Overlap. A lot of good stuff going on at the same time.
Yeah, that's the
Well, where are
bummer
you going to be next? If anybody wants to come see you.
Well, this weekend, last weekend of January, I'm going to be at Days of the Dead, Atlanta. I'll have my booth set up, Pinsploitation. Then, February It's like the second weekend of February. Can't think of the dates offhand, but Mad Monster Party in North Carolina.
Ooh.
I am driving out to that, and that's going to be the furthest I've ever driven for a con. But I kind of got sucked into it because I've also got family out there that I haven't seen since I was a little kid. So I'm like, well, it's kind of a dual purpose. It'd be worth it to make the trip, and then I'll be able to see them and have the convention.
Still a write off, girl. Write off.
That's right.
Man, Mad Monster looks like a blast.
I've never been to any of them. I've just heard good things.
Well, you know what I do, and is anytime we think about doing a show, I will go to the YouTube and see the traffic.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'll go to YouTube and I'll say, oh, I'm thinking about doing this convention next year. Let me go to YouTube and check out the traffic,
Right.
And then I'll say, okay. And so I was thinking about doing Mad Monster in August, but I'm not sure. I can't remember where it is in August, but maybe in North Carolina again, but I'm not sure. But I was looking into it and I may do it.
Okay. Well,
now I got to ask you a question. I got to ask you a question.
What's that?
What was your favorite horror movie from last year? Like newer horror.
From last year, I would have to say, oh my goodness. Was Pearl last year, or has that been 2 years?
Which one?
Pearl? Was that last year, or was that 2 years ago?
That may have been 2 years ago.
Okay, well then I'm gonna say Thanksgiving. I really enjoyed Thanksgiving.
That was a cool movie.
It was a fun movie.
Little street vibe.
I gotta see it. I haven't seen it yet.
It was a lot of fun. You could tell that the people that made it were people just like us. They were fans that love it.
Eli Roth. I think he nailed his first real slasher.
Yeah.
Because he did Cabin Fever and Hostel and Green Inferno. I think he really nailed it.
Yeah.
And I think he knew it was going to be a success because he left so many cast members alive. They could go on to do the sequel,
It's true.
Well, now I got to tell you, I'm a Flash guy. Flash was, it's not a horror movie, but that was one of my favorite movies from last year. I absolutely loved Cocaine Bear.
Oh, did you?
Absolutely loved it. Just seeing it in the theater with people, we were in Pensacola, Florida, and the crowd was so into it.
Yeah.
But the creepiest movie was When Evil Lurks.
Ooh.
Okay, I did see that. That was good.
That was creepy.
I did. I liked that.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I found that I really enjoy a lot of foreign horror because they have a different approach. They've got a different mentality. Their cultures are different. So they approach the things that scare them and scare us from different angles. And you don't always expect it.
We're down to 1 minute. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's been so nice.
It has. Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed this.
What a pleasure meeting you, even though it's on here. And I look forward to seeing you and meeting you in person. You're just lovely, just like Bronson said you are.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Real quick, there's a chance. I met someone from Crypticon that helps with booking the talent. She wants Honey to be at some of the shows. Yeah. So when I get in touch with her, I'm going to push for her to be in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
So Honey will be a guest in Kansas City because we'll both be there, and hopefully Honey will be there with us.
Let's do it. Let's have some fun. All right. I love it.
That's the nicest hotel ever.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bronson, for helping out and recommending a guest and co-hosting. It was such a pleasure meeting you, and I'm sorry because it's going to cut us off in a second. So love you. Thank you.
Love you too.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, Felicia.